Hello. Good afternoon if you're in the UK. Good morning if you're in California. And good night if you're in Australia. And if I've missed any countries out, I mean, there's only really 3 countries in the world, isn't there? I'm joking. I'm joking. I've got Nickita Starck here today. Hello. How are
Hi,
you?
how are you?
Right,
Nice.
guys. Yeah,
Hi.
sorry. I'm talking over you. Whoops.
I was saying it's really nice to be back. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, it's always a pleasure. If you guys are watching, this is Nickita. She's been on the show a number of times. She runs When Push Comes to Shove. She's a natural birth superstar and helps thousands of women now, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So how's it going with you? And she's an incredible singer. Sorry, I
Oh,
forgot that bit.
thank you so much. Yeah, things are going really well, and I'm delighted I'm back on just to talk to everyone about the progress we've made in the last couple of years since I first came on the show.
Has it been a couple of years?
Yes,
Are you having a giraffe?
yeah, it's been a
I
couple of years.
I thought this would be over by Christmas 2020.
Oh.
Nope. Our survey says,
No, it's going well. It's going really well. Yeah, I wanted to share with everyone some statistics because these are important. I've been keeping a very close eye on our statistics from when people engage anyone from When Push Comes to Shove as their natural birth attendant. For those of you watching who don't really know what we're about, I'll just explain in a nutshell before I go on to the stats. So When Push Comes to Shove is the fastest growing alternative maternity structure in the world.
I've spelled that right, yeah.
Yep, yep, that's it. We provide non-clinical care for maternity care. We train people to do what I do. So I'm a natural birth attendant, traditional birth attendant. I started off in midwifery, hated it, then trained to be a doula. But over the years, my roles kind of changed. I've just learned from granny midwives and real cool traditional techniques, and I now teach that to others. So that's you can do doula training at When Push Comes to Shove, or we've got the 1 year Artemis Birth Attendant Academy if you want to be a traditional birth attendant. Then we've got education for expectant parents. So we've got the childbirth masterclass, how to navigate the system. We provide you with natural birth practitioners. We're in 8 countries now, which is really cool. And the idea is to have continuity of care. So you've got someone throughout your entire pregnancy and birth. You can be involved with the system, have a toe in, or completely outside the system. Now, our main role is to educate people about birth and your rights and to empower women. So we're not here to say you should have a home birth or you should have a free birth. It's actually none of our business how women want to give birth. The idea of When Push Comes to Shove is go, hey, do you know you've actually got a choice? And this is what you can do to carry out your wishes. Here's how to navigate the system. Here are the right questions to ask, etc., etc. And I'm going to share with you some statistics from 2022. This is so cool. I'm really, really proud. Can you see me? Because I've just gone off screen.
No, I
So
can see you.
right. So we average, by the way, before I start, we help about 30 women a month match up with a good birth practitioner in their area. So with that in mind, these are the stats from last year. So 36% of the women who engaged us last year had successful free births. So that means there was no medical intervention at all, no one medical attending their birth. Only 4% had a stretch and sweep. And for those who don't know what that is, it's a really nasty, horrible procedure where a midwife or a doctor will stick their fingers inside you, sweep around the membranes by your cervix and hope to start labor. If you're told it's a benign procedure, it's not a benign procedure.
I've not got a cervix, but I hate the idea of that. Oh
It's
my God.
awful. You can have one if you want one, but many people don't even know they have a choice. They're like, "Oh, you're overdue. You've got to come in for a stretch and sweep," but I'll go into that in a minute. Then what else have we got? Only 4% experienced any other form of induction. Only 12% had continual fetal monitoring. 60% had no pain relief whatsoever. 80% of women did not have any vaginal exams at all. 66.7% gave birth in water. 70.8% had home births. only 12% emergency cesarean, only 5.4% gave birth on their back, 76% experienced a physiological third stage of labour, which means they weren't given any drugs to help the placenta come out. 88% delayed cord clamping, and a whopping 100% of babies were breastfed.
Wait.
Woo!
Woo! This is good.
This is awesome.
Yeah.
This is really awesome.
This is really good.
So these are good statistics. So if you come and birth with us, you know you've got a much, much higher chance of having a physiological birth.
Do you think any of the women that you've helped would come on a round table and talk about this?
Yeah,
That
I'm
might be a
sure.
good idea. Because I'm, you know, people watching this who don't know, I'm a natural birth advocate. I want to help men deal with birth as well, because they don't really know what to do. I did you see the interview I did a couple of weeks ago with Jacqueline Hope? She's great. She's got that with all the babes of my life. If you haven't watched that video, go and watch it. And you know, I've interviewed Nickita a load of times. Trying to remember the names now. Janice Barcelo. Very quickly, my story as a father is emergency cesarean, VBAC, home water birth, first all natural birth of twins in the UK in 40 years.
Amazing.
And it wasn't me; it was the mother. But I was part of that journey, and I saw what she went through and how she thought the system is so strong. You know, that's
really, really hard. We had a mum birth with us a few weeks ago, actually, and we call it a unicorn birth. You just never really hear of it. So this mum was pregnant with twins. One was breech, one was cephalic, so one head down, one bum down, and 3 previous C-sections. And we had a birth attendant from When Push Comes to Shove who attended her, and she had a very successful home birth, no problems.
Brilliant.
Yeah, but everyone was telling her in the system she's mad, she's putting her children at risk, blah blah blah. I think the social world, yeah,
it's incredible pressure, incredible.
Yeah.
No, I mean when yeah. Anyway, I've already told my story on that side of things before, but yeah, you're doing great work and it's having an effect. We just need to get it to millions more.
Absolutely, and we really need to carry on raising money for the Access Fund so we can provide low-income family with free care. By the way, if you're watching this and you fancy doing like my childbirth masterclass and you're expecting a baby, if you are on universal credit or any benefits, you can email me and I'll give you 50% off the course. If you are,
just got to tell you this. While you were talking, I was just glancing at the numbers of people watching. It went from 88 to 111 to 107.
Oh, okay.
Well, they're all magic numbers.
Oh, are they? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
111 to 107. Okay.
Well, 88 is 88 miles an hour. It's Donald Trump. 111 is angel numbers, and 107 is 17, which is Q.
I've known nothing about that.
Yeah, well, I didn't until about 3 years ago. So yeah, carry on. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
So yeah, if you're on a low income and you can provide evidence of that, we can most certainly provide you with care for free. If you want to do the course, I can give you 50% off. And basically, how we're going to help change the world is through birth. That's my remit anyway. So myself and Angela, who's co-founder of the Artemis Birth Attendant Academy, so which is the 1-year course we do, which teaches people to do exactly what we do, give them the knowledge and the wisdom that we've learned in our combined 24 years experience. We can't go out and attend all these births ourselves. So we're trying to teach as many people as possible to go out there, advocate for women, know what we know safe, holistic practice, alternatives to allopathic medicine. So, for example, it's very clear since I've been teaching, hardly anyone understands these skills like to prevent a postpartum hemorrhage. You can use shepherd's purse tincture, cinnamon bark tincture, angelica essential oils, fantastic. You can even cut a bit of the placenta off and put it in your mouth because, of course, that's full of millions of stem cells. There are so many natural remedies that we teach alternative to allopathic medicine. We're not saying you have to do this instead of that. There's a such thing as balance, Of course, you can choose to go completely allopathic or completely holistic. It's entirely your choice. We're there to go, what do you want to do? Here are your options. You become empowered and take responsibility for your health and for your baby. It's why we're working with the PHA, the People's Health Alliance, to show people they can take responsibility for their health. And I find that women tend to have a traumatic birth when they're not in control. So even if women end up with an emergency cesarean operation, as long as they have made informed choices the whole way through and it's been under their control, they don't tend to suffer with trauma. It's women who have the system have gone, you're doing this, you're doing that, you have no say in it, or they believe they have no say in it. Not that the system actually articulate in a way was, this is your choice. It kind of comes across as law. It's not. They're just guidelines. And here's a scary statistic. So maternity care is only based on 8% category A good, strong evidence. So when women are being told, you have to do this test, you have to do that, you have the right to ask them, is this actually based on any evidence? And further still, you're allowed to look and ask for the evidence, because a lot of these studies they've taken place in hospital, or they're done in the 50s. And as Beverly Beach says, who wrote Am I Allowed, you can't understand the behavior of birds by observing them in a zoo. So how are we going to understand the true outcomes and optimal birth and physiological birth when all the studies are done in hospital? So if a well-meaning scientist wanted to understand the physiology of how a ferret gives birth, it would have to be done under scientific conditions, bright lights, listening to other ferrets give birth, all these triggers for adrenaline to stop oxytocin, which is your hormone you need in labor. We'd have to come to the conclusion that a ferret can't give birth naturally for the most part. Now, look at how women give birth generally. They're surrounded by strangers, BP machines, people looking at them.
Mm-hmm.
How are they going to carry out a physiological process when they can't release oxytocin? Because our body does a very, very good job of warning us of danger. So if you were wandering the tundra a few thousand years ago and you saw a predator, but you were about to go into labor, you would see the predator, you'd have a signal to your brain saying, that's dangerous, that thing's going to eat you. So you release adrenaline. So all that lovely oxygenated blood to go to your uterus, go to your arms and legs, ready to fighty, smashy, kicky, punchy, or run away. And the modern day equivalent of that is coercive language, people standing over you with masks, going, push, you can't do this. Yeah. Or hearing other women give birth.
You're screaming.
That's not conducive to a natural birth, is it?
No. And it's a terrible way to enter the world for the baby.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. In fact, I will plug my friend's book right now, because this is incredible. So Alison Shalhoub, Baby Talk to Me. Shaloe.
Where'd you get this?
Amazon, anywhere. Baby Talk to Me, Alison Shalhoub. So she's a midwife, and she communicates with spirit babies, and she's trying to understand the message they're bringing through. You should interview her. She's fantastic.
Oh, she sounds it.
Yeah, she's wonderful. She's a breastfeeding specialist as well, tongue tie specialist. Really, really good friend of mine. That's it. Baby Talk to Me. It's absolutely phenomenal.
Spirit baby messages for the journey to motherhood. Fantastic.
Yeah, she's wonderful. So it's so important. Like, these babies are coming in with trauma. Instead of being born into a sea of oxytocin, they're being born into a sea of cortisol and adrenaline, and people wonder why they've got unsettled babies.
Well, it affects them for life as well. That's your signal's gone funny. You're frozen.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Is your Wi-Fi on?
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird.
Oh, it seems to be working fine. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, but it's all juddery.
No.
Okay, you're coming back.
Good. Am I back?
Yeah, I think so. Kinda.
Okay.
60%.
Okay.
Yeah, while your signal's improving, hopefully, you guys, if you're watching this, even if you're a man or you're way past the age of giving birth, just share the hell out of it with anybody in your family, your network, or anybody that is thinking about having a baby, because I totally agree with Nickita that it starts with birth, and the birth system that most people are in is satanic. It's evil, and we have to change it. You still there?
I am. Yeah. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but you're kind of frozen. You said you're working with the PHA as well. I was speaking to Catherine McBean the other day, and it's just what exactly are you doing in the PHA? People's Health Alliance, guys, pha.org, I think.
Yeah, that's right. So I help with the birth side of things, birth education. We're doing a round table actually on the 22nd. Myself and a few other experts from When Push Comes to Shove, we're talking about birth, how it's going to improve our health if we actually understand physiological birth, give women information, give men information, how to educate them. It's a fantastic organisation to help people take responsibility for their own health, and of course everything starts at birth. They're doing a birth awareness month next month, so I'll be doing a few posts for them there.
Yeah, just the website is the-pha.org.
Yeah, it's fabulous. So I think the main issue and how we've got to this point of coercive over-medicalisation of birth is we're all living in this state of fear, a collective consciousness of fear. People are obsessed with drama. Look what people watch on the TV, and even if it's about birth, there's always dramatic scenes of trauma, and birth is meant to be the world's biggest disaster, and it's not. Not saying it's inherently safe, but it's definitely not inherently dangerous. There's risks with everything. Birth is as safe as life, and you get to have a choice. If we're going to live from fear, we have to expect fear to keep showing up in our lives. But if we're living from love and making decisions from love, you will expect that to show up in one form or another. But I think it's about educating, like what I'm doing when push comes to shove. We've got to educate people that if you're going to make these decisions from fear, it will keep showing up. So birth has to start with love. You've got to remove your bias, your fear. Like I've been at birth sometimes and I've seen something and I've gone, oh, that's scaring me. So I've had to take 5 minutes, come back in and not bring my crap into the birth room. If midwives are there thinking they have to fix everything and they're paid to save the day, no, that's not what birth's about. It's about autonomy, women having an empowered, beautiful experience and having a choice instead of having things taken over and you can't do this, you can't do that, that's dangerous. All this coercive behavior is not acceptable. And women call me all the time saying, it's so hard to refuse. So if I'm at a stand saying, oh, you've got to be induced, your baby's too big, it's really hard because they use very coercive language, not want your baby to die. That's not helpful. Instead, I would urge everyone to take the Socratic approach. Give them rope to hang. So if they're saying, you've got to have an induction for a big baby, okay, before I accept or decline, what is a big baby? Working definition, please. If you're worried about a shoulder dystocia, so a shoulder getting stuck in the pelvis, can you please tell me how many babies have shoulder dystocia after induction? The small babies get shoulder dystocia. You've got to ask the right questions. What studies have you got? If they answer this, you can make an informed decision. You can't go in blind. You're just going with fear.
Yeah.
You still with me?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Yeah, I've actually just got a course. It's called How to Navigate the System. It's on my website. So if you go to pregnancy education on my website and scroll down, you will see How to Navigate the System workshop. It's 5 hours. We teach you the Socratic approach. We teach you everything you need to know about the NHS Constitution, the Human Rights Act, the Mental Capacity Act, because we get inundated with calls from women who are saying they're calling the social services because I'm not towing the line. Just click outside of that. Yeah. Pregnancy education. Yeah, click on that and then scroll down. So there's the masterclass. That helps you with antenatal, knowing everything about birth. This is what navigating the system. So you can do that in your own time. You'll be really well versed in knowing how the system works. We work really closely with a company called the Autonomy Hotline, and this is so important.
What's it called?
The Autonomy Hotline.
Okay.
They help vulnerable people. They help you navigate the system, social services cases, you know, people being denied care because they're not jabbed or whatever it is. The Autonomy Hotline is a good one to know. So we triage each other's calls. So if they get lots of birth cases, they come to us, vice versa. So we'll help women who have been told, you know, you've got to have this, like, I don't know, induction, for example, or you've got to have a C-section because you've had a previous C-section. And if they're not towing the line, sometimes social services get involved. So I always say to women, it is a good idea to have a toe in the system. You can decline, accept whatever you like. But the problem is, if you're having a completely wild pregnancy, which is legal, you don't have to engage the NHS. There's no legal obligation to do so. But what sometimes happens is if they go into hospital in an emergency, they turn up and the midwife's like, who the hell are you? They might try and do you for concealment of a pregnancy. Although that's not law, they'll just find everything they can. But there is good reason for this, because such things as baby farming goes on.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there is good reason that there are red flags for people who do this. But if you know how to navigate the system and how to avoid them, and how to correctly go about, I don't know, complaining or making a preemptive strike, the course is a really good idea to do. And call us. My number's on the website. You can call the Autonomy Hotline to help you with anything like this. So we've helped with people who've been refused. Like they said they want to not have blood transfusions because of vaccinated blood. And well, you can have options. You can have a cell saver, or you can have chilofusing. So we give them options so they can go back to their care provider and say, look, we like these instead. Can you please give me some more evidence as to why I have to have this or I don't have to have this? Just give you the tools to help you help yourself, essentially. And that's really important. I wrote the book last year, When Push Comes to Shove's Guide to Social Services and How to Navigate the System, because I was being inundated with calls from terrified women who are being told they have to do this and they have to do that, threatened with social services, threatened with the police. I had a phone call from a lady last week. She transferred into hospital, not last week, a few weeks ago. She transferred into hospital, by the sounds of it, unnecessarily because of the midwife, but they have to tick their boxes, so fair enough. And they said the baby wasn't allowed to leave until his infection markers were clean, which is fine, but they said they couldn't leave for 2 weeks afterwards. She said, I want to go for a walk around the grounds, and they said, if you do that, we'll call the police and social services. I've had women call me saying they've called social services because they've had a free birth. You can't refer a woman to social services just on the basis of free birthing. That's protected by Birth Rights 2017. But it does happen and it does go on. So you have to know what you're dealing with. You can always call us. I'll always take a quick 10-20 minute phone call. That's no problem. But if you really want to dive into it, we do have a course available, as I mentioned earlier. The Autonomy Hotline are fantastic. They help people too, and a lot. They've done some amazing work. They're a CIC, which is fantastic.
What's a CIC?
It's not quite a charity. It's like I can't remember what it bloody stands for. It's like a charitable organisation, but it's a business model.
Okay.
I'm probably explaining that terribly, but look it up. So I don't want to get it wrong. So look up CIC. But they are fantastic. They do so much amazing work. And together, we are slowly paving the way. So women realise they've got their choices. They can become empowered in birth or anything like to do with female health. You know, if you call us and you're worried about needing help with the baby after the baby's born, we can provide you with a postnatal doula, to help you. Even if you need a few hours to sleep, we can help you with that. So the whole idea is coming together. It's really built over the last couple of years. Hopefully it will keep growing. I'm sure it will. But mainly we need as many women as possible to train so you can support others in your area. We will train all over the world. We've got people signed up in Australia, Canada, America, Germany, Spain, Portugal. Yeah. Birth's the same all over the world, although laws differ. So I supported a lady in Dubai a few weeks ago remotely. I didn't go over there. It's actually illegal to send a home birth in Dubai.
Sorry?
And
It's illegal?
it's illegal to attend a home birth in Dubai. Yeah.
Oh my God.
So there's no midwives or doctors attending home births. I think the same in Colombia. So some women are very restricted. Now, she could have had a free birth because it's not illegal to give birth at home. It's just illegal to attend someone at home. So, knowing it's really important. So you know how to navigate the system properly.
Yeah, well, that's what the last 3 years has been all about. It's birth sovereignty. It's all about being sovereign and knowing your rights. And I got threatened with fines and prison by social services here because my twin boys didn't attend enough days at school last year. And I said it's because you brought in a mandate for these, which is child abuse, you idiots. And they went, it's above my pay grade. And I'm like, because it's but it's very intimidating. They are very, very intimidating people. And they're all complicit in child trafficking as far as I'm concerned, and you should learn to stand up to them because they are evil. Or if they're not evil themselves, they're working for evil and they're complicit whether they realize it or not.
Well, there is an element of, I think a lot of individuals who work in the system, they are passively supporting the beast without maybe knowing about it. But the approach to take with this, and call me a hippie or whatever, you have to come from a place of love, because you can't put out a fire with fire.
Yeah.
Inside every intimidating, confrontational, scary adult is a scared child. And if you don't have to come out with your chest puffed out and I know this and I know that. That never works. You take the Socratic approach. You say, okay, thank you for bringing this to my attention. Before I accept or decline, I have a few questions. And if they are being unreasonable, you will give them rope to hang. And if they're not, then you've just got more information to make an informed decision. But yes, it can be really intimidating if you've got people threatening you with the police and social services. That sounds terrifying. And if you really don't know what your rights are, you can feel backed into a corner, and then you will start to acquiesce into anything they tell you.
Excuse me. Absolutely. And there's a few interesting points here. Come on, 8:30. The system runs for profit, which does not mix with health. I don't agree with that. It's nothing to do with profit. These people have all the money in the world. Why do you think they give mustard gas for cancer? And people say, it's because they get 70,000 quid. Yeah, okay, there's money involved, but the people behind pulling the strings, there's nothing. They don't care about the money. They just want the farm animals, as in us, behaving the way that they want them to behave. So we've got to get past this idea that it's all for money, because it isn't. They have an agenda that money's just.
I think we need to get past the idea that there's any one particular thing. It's like, how do you want to live? But my biggest thing, right, is, how do I explain this? Right, I had an interview with a woman who was 105 years old, and someone asked her, she was 105 years old, and the interviewer asked her, what's your key to longevity? And she said, minding my own business. And I thought, by gum, she's right. And the reason I think that's correct on a spiritual level is because you can either criticize or create.
Yeah.
And I think if you mind your own business and create, I don't want to sit here and criticize the system. What's the point? You can't fix it from the inside. So I'm minding my own business and creating my own. I don't even want to say system. I don't like that word, but structure, if you will. So you can focus on that and what you don't like, but don't be surprised when more of what you don't like keeps showing up in one form or the other, because we are all energy. And if we give that energy, I don't want this, I don't want this, it's going to keep showing up. So criticize or create. So I'm minding my own business. I'm creating something which I know has value, and it's not transactional, it's transformational. I know I'm giving people the tools to change their lives. You can lead a horse to water, but they won't necessarily drink. I'm not interested in saying these people should be doing this, these should be doing that. No. Just do what you want. People are going to carry on doing what they want anyway. From a very spiritual point of view, we have to understand that we're not single waves in the ocean. We are all part of the same ocean, and there will be a ripple effect. If you live from love, and just focus on what you're doing, there is a ripple effect. It's so hard to see sometimes when you look around you and all this crap, but mark my words, there's no such thing as darkness. Darkness isn't a thing. Darkness is the absence of a thing, and that thing being light. You wouldn't open a door to a dark room and start kicking and punching and screaming and shouting at the dark. You turn the light on.
I might.
I'm sure you would, mate. You just shine your light. Shine your light.
Shine the light.
There you go. And it will shine brighter than 1,000 dim bulbs. I promise you. Really, really fucking hard to do sometimes when all you see around you is fear. But you change the world by changing how you start with yourself. Making decisions, change the dialogue in your head, mind mastery. I mean, I'm not there. I'm no level of bloody enlightenment. I'll let you know when I get there. But I'm learning as I go that the best way to make change is to live from your true nature, aligned with yourself. What other people are doing is none of my business. This is why I don't understand trolls on the internet. Do they spend their time in their mum's basement covered in Cheeto dust, going through Facebook and Instagram? I don't like this, I don't like that. Mind your own business. And if you don't like it, go and do something that you think is creative and create a new thing from a place of love. That's my 2 cents, Mark. Gone a bit off topic from birth there.
Well, no, it's all connected. And we don't have to stick to birth. I mean, birth is part of the equation, but it's the same theme throughout everything. It's like you have to get it right in your head first. It's like when you study common law, natural law, it starts because you've been programmed so heavily that you have to work on the head part of it. And it does take courage to stand out, to stand up to it in any way. I mean, you know, I've told the story many times about when I first stopped paying my TV license, which everybody that's in the UK and Ireland, stop paying your TV license immediately because you're paying to be brainwashed. And don't subscribe to Disney Plus or Netflix. Just get away from it all completely. But when I did that, I remember how I was shaking when they came to the door. And, you know, are you Mr. Atwood? And I was like, well, because they're really aggressive with you, you know. And it's the same with the doctor that told the mother of my twins that if she didn't have an injection, the babies would die. And then immediately her you know, what do you call it? Labours stopped. And it was traumatic, you know. So it is a case of getting it right in your head first and really getting your head around it and putting the time in. And I'm glad that you've made these courses and stuff. And, you know, you guys watching, even if these things are not for you, like I said earlier, pass them to anybody you can think of, because, you know, it's we the people. And this is exactly what you're doing, which I love.
Absolutely. And it can be really scary sometimes, but like Mark said, you know, it's build your mind first. You've got to build resistance in your mind to live from love instead of fear. Like, you know, you wouldn't just go to the gym, do one session and then buff up, right? It's constant resistance training, the same with your mind and the soul and your health. And this is really, really important to understand, especially when you're pregnant and you're growing another human inside you. Health is mind, body, and soul. And if you neglect or emphasize on one of those too much or too little, there will be dis-ease in your body. Now, there are only 3 reasons anyone will ever get ill. One is trauma, one is toxicity, and one is deprivation. And it's the same for mind, body, and soul. So let's take body, for example. If you had a physical trauma, I don't know, you've been kicked by a donkey, yeah, you might get ill and there might be problems. Toxicity, so you've got anything in your body that you shouldn't. I'm sure you can all deduce what I'm talking about. And then deprivation, if you're depriving your body of something, minerals, vitamins, this is a classic example for like preeclampsia. So a doctor will say, well, we don't really know why it happens. Well, we do know why it happens. It's because there's not enough protein in someone's diet to cope with the expanding blood volume. That's why preeclampsia happens. So they're the 3 examples for body. Let's take mind, for example. So toxicity, hanging around the wrong people, toxic people in your life, having no boundaries. Deprivation, depriving yourself of one-to-one time, you know, taking time off of work, doing something for you. And then trauma, that's obvious, for emotional a lot of people had childhood trauma they haven't dealt with. And then it goes on with the soul as well. Toxicity, deprivation, and trauma with the soul. We have mother wound that we carry on through generations, and we have to make a decision to sever those chains to change everything. If you don't meditate, I'm sure most of you watching will bath or shower every day to get rid of yesterday's dirt. Do you do the same here? Do you meditate? Are you just still in the present moment for just 5 minutes every morning? In Buddhism, it says, be that of an empty rice bowl. So that just means be present, be open to anything. And that is so true when you're in labor. You have to be the epitome of a human being, not a human doing, not a human becoming. You just are. And it's so, so important to remember that everything, all this scare stuff that you're hearing, it's only going to be as bad as the attention you give to it. You can create if you want to. Now, this is just my 2 cents. I could be talking shit, but from my perspective, it does work. And I have to practice at it all the time, because sometimes I will get into my ego and I'm like, oh shit, I'm panicking. I'm not being received very well by X, Y, and Z. And then, of course, it shows up more and more. So, you bless, let them get on with it and do your own thing. That's the way I think.
Yeah, well, I think it's good. I'm glad you're here in the world. I'm glad you're doing all this, and I'm glad that there seems to be positive. Those stats are very positive. What else have you got to say this afternoon before I leave? Because I need to eat. I'm getting hangry.
I can tell. Just look, if you think birth is your calling and you want to help liberate birth and stop the sabotage, the deliberate sabotage, please come to whenpushcomes-to-shove.co.uk. Reach out, give me a call, send me an email, and we can see which course is right for you. Or if you need help in the system, if you are pregnant or you know anyone that's pregnant, get the shit out of this, because we need this to become the #1 alternative to the normal system. We are here to help. Use us, and yeah, God bless.
Brilliant. Fantastic to see you, and keep it up, stay in touch, and I'll email out links and everything. You guys watching, if you're not on my email list, it's in the description below here. When push goes to shove should be on the screen right now, and when this goes afterwards, if you're not, when this is, the replay is up on YouTube, I'll put the link in the description as well. Thank you, Nickita.
Thank you, Mark.
Lots of love. Take care. Have a lovely day in smelly old London.
Bye.
Bye.